Are you tired of getting rushed down on B site, picked in mid, or caught off guard on A? Well, today we're going to talk about the must-know opening utility for Mirage in CS2. But before we dive into the action, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. For those of you that don't know, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that allows you to select the old skins you don't want anymore and pick out some new ones from the monkey. It's a great way to freshen up that old dusty inventory, and hey, that's not all. They have some amazing filter and selection features, as well as 24/7 live support. If you click the link in the description, you can get a free $5 and a 30% deposit bonus that becomes 35% if you use my code TACTICS on the site. Don't miss out on this offer and check out SkinsMonkey today. Let's get back into the video. Let's get started with A site. Before we can know what to throw, we have to understand the spawn timings for each position. For ramp, the T's can be out by 1:48, so your best course of action is to throw a molly as early as possible, preventing the T's from getting too spicy. With the incendiaries being smaller, it's ideal to have them land around here. The pros generally throw it by aiming at the left of this antenna and releasing it just as they pass the corner. On the fly, this times out well to help you cross to connector, since it'll block visibility for any of the T's trying to go for an aggressive op pick. This molly should prevent anyone from jumping up on the right side or crossing all the way to the corner here on the left. Afterwards, if your teammates are going for fights in mid, it's important to flash over connector for them. If you watch Magisk play, he'll generally throw all of this on the run as he's crossing towards connector. Generally, I do a nice little W jump throw like this, but it doesn't have to be that precise. Now, if you're not the connector player and instead you're the A anchor, it might be a good idea to try to time out an HE into ramp just as the Molotov starts to fade. You'd be surprised how much UD you can actually get from simply throwing HEs on the back of incendiaries. Now let's turn our attention over to mid. With a decent spawn, the CT is going to be winning this race every single time. This makes smoking window on T side an absolute must. There's a reason this is the most thrown smoke in all of CS2. The easiest way to throw the smoke is going right here onto the stair corner and doing a simple jump throw right at this position along the rug. While it's amazing to finally have a window smoke that only requires a regular jump throw, this one's a bit easier to block since it bounces so low off of short. And of course, the old version is from this corner right here in the trash can. You're gonna aim in this position, hold D, and then jump through. But hey, even this one can be blocked, it's just a little bit more difficult. But if you're a nerd like me and know the instant window smokes, you'll never have this issue because they land much faster and are going to help you take mid with a little bit more pace. I'm showing all of them quickly on screen right now in the background with the spawn clearly labeled, so feel free to pause, rewind, or slow it down all you want if you need to focus in on these. And hey, if you're looking for a more detailed explanation on each and every one of these lineups, I've made a thorough guide on instant smokes for every map. Link is in the description. Now, of course, depending on the objective of the mid utility, it's also a good idea to throw either a connector or short smoke to complement your window smoke. For connector, the easiest smoke is from this side of the trash can and simply doing a jump throw at this first step up in the pattern on the rug. This should fill all the way up to the top, leaving no gaps to be exploited. If you'd rather smoke short, from that same exact position, you can aim right here and do yet again another simple jump throw. I prefer one that bleeds out a little bit, preventing the CTs from using this corner as cover. Now, for more generalized mid control, I'd recommend pairing a simple cross smoke up with the window smoke. This is going to threaten the CTs and have them wondering whether or not someone is actually behind the boxes. To throw it, just go in that exact same corner and do a simple left click throw at the top of this antenna. That thing's going to land here and allow you to cross completely unscathed from the connector or mid player. But what about when the roles are reversed? Believe it or not, there are a couple of counters when it comes to this sort of utility. As everyone knows by now, it's extremely powerful to break the mid smoke. Even if you don't see anyone or you miss the shot, the information gained is just as valuable, and there are two ways to break it. The easiest, in my opinion, is you're going to get stuck into this corner right here, you're going to crouch down, look at this black spot, stand up, and do a right-click jump throw. That's going to explode just under the window, breaking the smoke without damaging you at all. However, while this breaks the most common smokes, there are some instances where it's unable to be broken from that lineup. In those specific scenarios, Modesty has a break where he goes along the wall right here, looks up, and does a simple right-click release along this dark spot. He's then going to jump onto the sawhorse, taking no damage to the nade while getting full visibility of top mid. These sorts of breaks work best if you're mollying out the boxes at the beginning of the round, just before the smoke blooms. This not only gives you more information during a smoke break, but can also make it easier for your teammates to get picks if the T's aren't tucking behind those boxes. Now, rewinding a bit to that first HE break, if you throw a flash instead of a nade in that situation, it works as a fantastic one-way flash to help you peek into mid. Another great way to pressure mid early is by throwing a smoke outside of connector like this, threatening a peek into underpass. You could also stay inside of connector and use it as a nice headshot angle. Even if you don't do anything with it, it's going to likely slow the Ts down, as they have to respect it. Now, the underpass peek is going to be most effective if you pair that up with a nice left and right click throw at this light, completely blinding all of underpass without any warning at all. Most people are calling this the donk flash, and believe me, it is worth giving it a shot. Alright, enough about mid, let's talk about B site. You'll see most professional players going here and throwing a deep Molotov to disrupt any sort of early apps pressure. To throw it, keep your back against these boxes and keep the window in frame. Aim with a dark spot above it, and do a running throw before you hit the corner. Any T that ends up in front of it will likely be spotted in the open. Now keep in mind, this molly is to counter and disrupt contact plays. A rush is generally going to get right through this. If you're expecting a full-blown rush or hear something coming, a quicker, shallower molly is probably going to be your friend. Now, with that first molly in mind, I generally enjoy pairing up a deep HE into kitchen right after it starts to fade. After that, you just get to jump spot and wait for any sort of contact for the rest of the round. I'd recommend holding onto your smoke though, and never deploying it in the early round, saving it for defensive concealment. Now, if you're not really worried about them lurking out apps on you, you can always get set up in this position to throw flashes for your teammates in mid if your A players aren't doing that great of a job. But normally I'd say just jump spot until the mid to late round. However, those details are for a different video. Hopefully you guys learned something new here, and if not, hopefully it was a nice little refresher at the very least. I'm going to be covering the essential opening utility on every single map in CS2. I've already covered Dust 2, so feel free to check that out right now. But before I go, I do want to thank all of my amazing channel members on screen right now. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do what I love every single day, and I'll see each and every one of you in the next one.